Diablo 4 Season 7 is in full swing, and the very beginning of the season has had a lot of eventful things that have been going on. Currently over here with Dorian, we are going to give you the update on what has happened, some of the bugs that are going on, and then all of the hotfixes that have actually come out very, very quickly. I was very surprised to see all of these quick changes in reaction to some of the bugs that were actually going to be probably breaking the game. So we'll go over some of those right now. Then I have a couple tips for you for some of the more common questions that people have been asking me. We'll get to that after all of the bugs and then all of the hotfixes. We're going to go over here to Wowhead. The very first thing that happened at the very launch of the season, and if you were playing a barbarian like I was, you wanted to get on and you wanted to run the Mantle of Mountain Fury. That is the new chess piece right here that was introduced for the Hammer Quake build. This makes your earthquakes explode and do massive amounts of damage, and the animation is gorgeous. When it first launched, it was broken. Unfortunately, it just would not work. It didn't do any damage on the explosion. The animation would go off and nothing would happen. So everybody was very, very disappointed. Fortunately, on January 22nd, the very next day, Blizzard released an update. So the Mantle of Mountain Fury is fixed. So it fixed an issue where the earthquake's explosion from the Mantle of Mountain Fury did no damage. The day of the launch, they also fixed some stability issues where it was just freezing as soon as you would zone into a new area, where you would be basically locked up, and then a couple seconds later or a couple minutes later, eventually you would either disconnect or you would start moving again, be dead like I was a couple times. So they're also continually working on some stability improvements. There were a couple issues that they're fixing right now. So we should see the server slowly start to even out. So there should be a nice smooth gameplay going on. Some of the other things that were happening, if you were watching trade chat over the last couple days, you would have seen this crazy phenomenon where in trade chat, which right now it's pretty chill, in trade chat, you would have seen people absolutely spamming to do carries of Lilith, not to get carried. Everybody was looking to carry other people through Lilith. And why were they doing this? Because there was a bug with Lilith that I discovered unintentionally. I had a group of people that we ran into Lilith. We killed the boss. And as soon as the boss died, every single person had a spark drop. But I got a spark for every single person that was in there as well. So that means everybody in the entire party got 4 sparks instead of 1. And you could do this as many times as you wanted. Now, fortunately, Blizzard was very, very fast about fixing this. The hotfix went out on the 23rd, fixed an issue where the Resplendent Spark could be rewarded when defeating Echo of Lilith in a party. Fixed an issue where ancestral caches from the Whisper Tree could be rewarded at lower level difficulties. And then additionally, some more stability improvements. When I was leveling, I saw the ancestral unique cache and I got super excited, but also very hesitant about it because we're leveling. And getting ancestral uniques isn't supposed to happen until you get into Torment 1. I got this cache, I opened it, no ancestrals, but that was honestly what I expected to see. So they did fix that. So the UI does not show it as an ancestral cache, but we don't have to worry about that anymore. So that was a good fix right there. The final fix that we're going to be talking about right here, this came out today. This is going to be talking about Restless Rot. Hex of Whispers has been re-enabled. That's a big one because a lot of people here have been running Hex of Whispers. I put mine back on, so we now have Hex of Whispers running. This is a really, really great hex. What happens is that after 6 times of hitting an enemy, it's going to come back to you. It's going to remove all crowd control effects on you and negative effects, and then it's going to fortify you. For classes that don't actually have any way to fortify themselves, this is going to be a very useful tool. Anybody that's going to be using Overpower that can't fortify, this is going to increase that overpower damage by a lot. How that works is if you go into your character slot here and you come down to overpower damage, when you look at what it says, with overpower damage, it's further increased at the moment of impact, and that's based on your maximum life and your fortify amount. So the more fortify you have, the more overpower damage you do. That's why with Rahir, taking advantage last season was the Spiritborn, so they could get that fortify and do additional damage with their overpower. This can be used on any class that doesn't gain fortify. So it was a really big thing when it went down. All of a sudden, nobody could use it. Now it was re-enabled, so that's happening today, so you can put that back in. We talked about the Restless Rot. Restless Rot has been buffed, and it was a very, very noticeable difference. I had to farm enough to get all of the materials in order to get Dorian. That was 10,000 Restless Rot. I did pretty much all of it today. It was very, very easy. It was very quick. How you do it, you just run through the new zone. Whenever you see a boss spawning, and that's going to be notated on your minimap by the orange root that's going to show up, it's going to be notifying everybody. those drop a ton. Now, I did test out, there's a couple of the cleansing siphons that you're going to find throughout. That one was probably about 200 to 300 per cleansing siphon. So if you're running through and you're farming Restless Rot, go through, hit those siphons, because it's a great way to farm your Restless Rot. That'll help you upgrade your witch powers. I'm going to be going back in because I need to finish upgrading mine to 20. Now, if you want to upgrade your witch powers and you're just getting started and you just got into them, when you come to your witch powers here, when you mouse over them, you're going to see at the very bottom here where it says upgrade. You're just going to click on that button, and then that's how you're going to be able to upgrade your powers. I want to get my Piranado up to level 5 so that I can see what it looks like when it's going to be attacking targets and moving towards it. Right now it just spawns, but at level 5, it's going to seek those enemies out, and I'm very excited to see how this works. The last little bug fixes that they've already patched up. There were some druids that were hitting some negative numbers. Now, negative numbers happens when you pass the number threshold that it cannot work anymore. We have broken the numbers, they start going into the negatives, and the druids were doing that. Fix an issue where the Force of Will witch power could lead to infinite scaling of overpowered damage. Fixed an issue where Hex of Whispers witch power could cause server crashes. Hex of Whispers is now usable again. So they adjusted this very, very quickly. If this is going to be the trend that we're going to see, this is going to be an amazing season because we're going to see updates, we're going to see fixes right away. We don't have to wait. So we'll see what happens throughout the rest of the season and some of the changes that are going to come from Blizzard. But so far, they have responded very well to a lot of the issues that are going on. Now, we were talking about lost powers here with the Piranado, and I know that a lot of people want to get this. A couple of things that I have found most of these altars inside of the pits. As I've been leveling up my glyphs, I'm just running through. They're just right there in the middle. I found them on the first floor, and I've also found them on the second floor. This is something that as you run past the altars, you can just use them to upgrade your powers. The very first time that I found one, that was where I got the Piranado from. It gave me that power. Now, every time that I found one after, it's been upgrading my powers for me because I have them. The other two lost powers you can actually purchase. I just haven't purchased them yet, so it's not upgrading those. So if you wanted to get a very specific one upgraded, you just find whichever ones those are, and then those are the ones that you're going to leave in and that you can upgrade with. So that's just the way that I've been doing it. A lot of people have been asking where they drop, how to find them. The best way to do it is just to run any dungeon. Now, inside of your consumable tab, as you've been going and as you've been playing and opening up these whisper caches, you're going to be finding your Drought of Whispers. This is going to double your chances of encountering a forgotten altar in Sanctuary's many dungeons. Additionally, increases the chance of encountering a Fugitive Head boss by 50%. So Fugitive Heads is the next thing that people have been asking me about. These are the Fugitive Heads. I've already crafted my first legendary occult gem, and I've also been able to craft several other ones as I'm working towards my next one. So using these droughts has allowed me to get enough heads in order to go and craft these here. With the new increase to the Restless Rot, we're going to be able to get these occult gems up and running much faster than what I had originally thought they were going to be. Now for Dorian. A couple things that I did that I wanted to share with everybody when I was working on getting Dorian. Coming into the seasonal journey here, everything is very easy up until about this point here, and then things start to get a little long. Inside of this one here, the very last ones that I did in order to unlock it, because you don't have to do all of them to unlock it. I had to get through the bottom here, the Thorn in Hell. Defeat monsters while max threat level during Helltides on Torment 1 or higher. That bar that fills up across the top while you're in Helltides, that's your threat meter. I was actually able to do this in a single Helltide, and it was very, very quick. Go anywhere except for the Blood Maiden. Fill up your bar up until it's almost spawned. Then go hang out just around outside of the Blood Maiden and hope that somebody else is doing it with you if you don't have a very big AoE clearing build. As soon as you push your threat meter to max and the monsters start to spawn, start the Blood Maiden event, and I got 270 in one Blood Maiden event. If you look over here at the very bottom, you actually have to defeat 250 monsters before the Hellborn arrives. So I was able to complete that and make progress towards the previous setting as well. So we did that all at one time. It counts even if you haven't unlocked this tier yet, you can still take advantage of this. So that was just how I did it. So I wanted to share that with everybody because I did that earlier today. So get in there, unlock Dorian, join the team Dorian. The last thing that I have for you is going to be the Roothold dungeons. People keep on asking what they are and how to get into them. As you're doing your whispers, you'll find some brand new ones that say dungeon key caches. Those dungeon key caches will contain all of your Infernal Horde keys, Nightmare dungeon keys, as well as your Roothold keys. These are going to be incredibly good farms. The materials that drop inside are very, very good. You basically just pop this open just like a regular Nightmare Dungeon. You just click on the Roothold, open it up, you open up your map, and you can teleport right to the dungeon. Inside of these dungeons, you're going to be faced with choices. One will hurt you, and then one will benefit you and give you more rewards. As you go through, you're going to be able to earn Restless Rot inside the dungeons, lots of materials, more gear, and then, as we were talking about before, we were talking about the Fugitive Head. So make sure that whenever you use one of these, you go into the Roothold with a drought on, you are guaranteed to be able to fight a boss inside of the dungeon. So this is also a great place for you to farm your Fugitive Heads. That's all I got for you today. Just wanted to give you a quick update on all the things that are going on in Diablo 4. I'm live every night. I would love it if you stopped by, said hi, theorycraft with me. Catch you on the clip side.